10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I guess I'm live. I see that I'm live. Let me see how my volume is. I'm going to turn the volume down though. I'm just going to let the video run kind of like a action cam or a trail cam. Yeah, I want to just listen to some different stuff and start painting for the day. Let's see, which way does this need to go? It needs to go a little more that way, I think. So anyways, I'm not going to use headphones, but I'm going to turn my volume down. And it's Saturday, and I'm getting pretty close to wrapping this up. The stuff I'm doing now is just details here and there, and then the foliage, which should be pretty fun. Should go pretty quick. So I've got some hours to do here. I'm going to work mainly on the on this stuff right up here, and then I can bring in the leaves above it, and then I can add the leaves opposite, and also add some clouds. So we'll see. Can only do what we can do in a day. Over and out for now. Thank you. And say goodbye, volume. Goodbye. Goodbye, volume. I'll have to do a transcript for later on this thing. Maybe not. I'm going to listen to Elvis Costello.
Chevy makes America's most dependable trucks. Because in a Chevy truck, dependability comes standard. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hello.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries? This
As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself,
This is a camera lucida, and throughout the 19th century it was an indispensable drawing aid for artists and technical illustrators alike, and yet it's virtually unknown today. A camera lucida allows you to trace what you see. Technically, it superimposes a virtual image of your subject onto your paper, so you can see both your hand and your subject at the same time. This works for landscapes, figure drawing, and even copying other images. It radically transforms how you see and how you draw. So you might ask, where can I get one? Well, a portable camera lucida hasn't been manufactured in generations. An original camera lucida on eBay will run you from $300 to $500. At that price, it's a collectible or an antique, not an everyday tool. In 2013, I brought it back with authentic optics in a lightweight portable construction and at a price that more people could afford. Hi, I'm Pablo Garcia, and I'm a professor at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. In the year 2000, artist David Hockney proposed the ideas in this book, Secret Knowledge, Rediscovering the Lost Techniques of the Old Masters. In it, Hockney and co-author Charles Falco present compelling evidence that the old masters used various optical devices like the camera obscura, concave mirrors, and the camera lucida to help create their masterpieces. And by the way, some people really hated this book. They want to believe that the old masters somehow had superhuman drawing abilities, and they think that Hockney suggested that the old masters were somehow cheating by using optical drawing aids. But it's really the opposite. Many of us think it shows that the old masters were even more amazing because they made it their business to engage with the most cutting-edge technologies of their day, optics. After first reading about Hockney's argument, I bought an antique camera lucida and started drawing. One day, I showed the camera lucida to fellow professor and artist, and he was floored. Even though he was admittedly rusty, he was able to draw a quick likeness. And this is what the camera lucida is all about. Perspective, composition, and foreshortening are easier when your live subject is right there on your paper. But when we talked about using it with our students, we identified a problem. Antique camera lucidas are expensive. Most of our students hadn't even heard of it. To bring it to our students, someone would have to make one that is more accessible to everyone. The result? A camera lucida for today, the Neo Lucida. Now, to make this an authentic experience, I needed to get a few things right. First, optics. We used the exact same prism and mirror and glass optics as they did 100
files. They said they were going to come out. They're not coming out, or they're coming out, but they're heavily redacted. 500 pages of the Epstein files were entirely blacked out. It's very obvious to everyone that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence agent that was working on behalf of Israel and the United States to a degree, but this is why the files are not coming out. They're not. It's not because Trump is protecting billionaire friends that he's never cared about. He's not falling on the sword for his friends. That's not the Trump we know and love. The Trump we know and love is throwing people in front of a car so that he doesn't get hit. That's why people in this country elected him. That's the character of an American. The character of an American is someone who throws their wife in front of a fire to give themselves another few minutes to get out of the house. That's because America is about survival. It's about survival. It's not an emotional country. Like, we're all psychotic, but it's not an like when people call me a nihilistic sociopath, like they do all the time in the press, I'm simply telling people what it is, and no one wants to hear it, so they get all angry. The idea that this is like a deeply spiritual country of loving people, it's like psychotic to believe that. Can you imagine believing that? That this country is full of heroic people, heroes just walking around every day, giving of themselves for their communities and families. That, you couldn't convince someone of that. You couldn't convince Nick Reiner of that on whatever the hell he was on. So, this idea that Donald Trump is falling on a sword for other other billionaires that he doesn't want to be that he doesn't want them to be seen in a bad light doesn't make any sense. Let's throw that explanation out. Okay? Explanation number 2. The Cash Patel explanation. There's nothing there. There's thousands of pages of documents that have been redacted by the CIA and the FBI, but none of them say anything because nothing even happened. Remember, that was how this all started. Pam Bondi and Cash Patel, the Keystone Cops, were like, this thing's not even real. So, like, what? It's a hoax. It's fake. It's been grossly exaggerated, and none of it. He was a pervert and a freak, but there was no accomplices. He didn't do anything. They said that. There were no accomplices. There's 15 pictures out right now of Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, and this guy windsurfing or whatever. And apparently this guy, nothing was ever happening or going on because this was just like a weird rich guy, a weird pervert, and, By the way, it's funny, you see these photos, this is the only time you've ever seen any of these people having fun. So that was explanation number 2. Why they're not coming out. Explanation number 3, which I find more plausible, because I have gotten rid of explanation 1 and 2. And to review, explanation 1, Donald Trump feels really bad for other people and wants to protect their image. That was explanation number 1. That Donald Trump is hung up on the idea that a buddy or 2 of his might go down here. And he's that bums him out. So he's going to fall on the sword and, basically take the heat for other people in an act of selflessness. He was going to throw himself in front of the bus because other people might be inconvenienced by this, to say the least. Explanation number 2. None of this ever happened. None of these people ever did anything wrong. There was no trafficking ring. There were no accomplices. Nothing even happened. Now that was explanation 2 given to you by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That was their response. Remember, that was option 2. Given to you by who? Your aunt? No. The Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, option 3, a reason that many people don't think it's coming out, is because Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intelligence agencies in Israel, America. Maybe he was working with the Brits, maybe the French, maybe he got around. And what he was doing was he was a conduit between powerful people, people that were current government officials, former government officials, corporate leaders, whatever. The jet set, as they call them. And Jeffrey Epstein was finding ways for all of these people to make money whilst blackmailing them and videotaping their liaisons with underage people, their illegal, immoral, disgusting, evil acts, and then keeping the tapes or selling them to the highest bidder or using them as leverage or whatever the case may be. But that would require, option 3 would require a pretty big public fallout when and if that information became public, that our own government or an allied government was blackmailing people. And when I say our government, I mean factions. I don't mean everybody. I don't mean your aunt who's the comptroller in New Jersey. I mean, deeply powerful factions of our intelligence community blackmailing congressmen, senators, presidents, prime ministers. Okay? Morgan & Morgan's a law firm. Did you slip on the butter? Was left out? You're eating french fries at the beach and you want to take a quick dip in the ocean. Put a seagull on watch? That's not security, it's catering for the seagull. I've read that so many times, I have no idea what that means. There's a reason you wouldn't trust a seagull with your fries, just like there's a reason you wouldn't trust insurance companies with your case. Oh, I get it now. Because when people show up, whether it's for help or answers or justice, they deserve somebody who's actually on their side. Hire Morgan & Morgan. I love these guys. They've been working for over 35 years, 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices nationwide. Hiring Morgan & Morgan is like hiring an army that has your back. If you're injured by somebody else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. And here's the truth. Not all law firms are the same. Hire the wrong one and you may be beat before you even start. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Here's my favorite thing about Morgan & Morgan. Their fees free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Tim. That's forthepeople.com/TIN. This is a paid advertisement. I cannot get enough of NeuroGum. Ever feel like you're running on empty, staring at your screen, hitting that afternoon crash, and debating another coffee or energy drink? Enter NeuroGum and Mints. Neuro's Energy and Focus Gum and Mints give you clean, focused energy without the crash sugar or sketchy ingredients. It's time to switch to good energy. It's the easiest upgrade I made to my wellness and energy routine. Here's what I made the energy switch. Personal story. This is a personal story of mine. I took the gum because I wanted more energy, and it's been great. Neuro also offers caffeine-free options for your all-day wellness support. Neuro's memory and focus gum are made with American ginseng, not that foreign ginseng. American ginseng to support mental clarity minus the jitters. Neuro's sleep and recharge mints offer melatonin and chamomile to help you unwind and rest without the pills or the sugary gummies. Limited time, you can get 20% off your first order at neurogum.com. Use promo code TIM. That's neurogum.com and use code TIM for 20% off your first order. You can also find Neuro at CVS and Amazon. So that seems to be option 3 of why it hasn't come out. Like, for example, you don't really have to know much about anything to know right now that it seems very likely, and I've talked to smart people who believe that there's kind of a civil war within our intelligence community in America. One faction of our, and by the way, there's multiple factions in the intelligence community. It's not like one and then another and then that's it. But I'm going to talk about one of the divides that I have talked to smart people about. One of the divides is between a group of people in the intelligence community who believe we should get out of the Middle East. We should not support Israel in attacking Iran. We should divest from Russia and Ukraine, and we should prepare to fight China. There are people in the national security establishment who believe that. This guy Briggs Colby, who you could bring him up. I want to say he works at the Department of Defense. I don't exactly know the position offhand. He's one of the people whom advocates that point of view, that we need to position ourselves for a potentially inevitable conflict on some level with China, and that getting bogged down with Russia or the Middle East, these kind of endless foreign wars, regime change wars. You'd also put like Tulsi Gabbard in that group, even though I'm disappointed with Tulsi about a lot of shit. Not that I don't like Tulsi Gabbard, or that I don't think she's good at tough mutters, and I like people from Hawaii and or whatever, whatever she does. I like that. But I'm a little disappointed by the fact that, I don't know, they gaslit. people, and they continue to do so. When she came out and was like, "Yeah, all these people are doing this. Say their names. What are you? You know, like, what are we, stupid?" You know, there's something going on because Joe Kent came out and asked Kash Patel, "I want to look into potential foreign intelligence in the Kirk assassination," and Kash Patel's like, "Fuck you. You're not getting any of these files." And so you have Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent kind of on one side of this, going, "I want to look at foreign intelligence, whatever happened or didn't happen. We just want to see the files." Kash Patel's like, "It's an ongoing investigation. You cannot see the files, and fuck you." So right there is a public rift of that war that I'm talking about. That kind of, underground conflict between factions in our intelligence community. You have the FBI with Kash Patel. You have that bureau going, "Don't compromise our investigation." You have Joe Kent going, "We want to know about what happened with the oversight here." So here is this Colby, Pentagon policy chief's rogue decisions have irked U.S. allies in the Trump administration. This is a political hit piece, right? So this is a political hit piece, okay? And this was written in July, I believe, right? So this is a faction of people. And this guy is, again, not like the highest level guy, but he's pretty high level. And does it say exactly what his position is?
There's a part here about his position, right?
No, his position in the Defense Department.
Oh.
Yeah, he might be an undersecretary. I believe that's what he is. Since joining the second Trump administration as the Pentagon's top policy chief. Okay. So that's a faction. Okay? That's clearly not the only faction. There's another faction that wants more interventions. That believes that the power vacuum in the Middle East gets filled by China and Russia. And that faction of people is more aligned with neoconservative people in those departments. And they want Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. And the Colby faction wants J.D. Vance. And the Tucker faction, Colby, not that Tucker's the CIA, but Tucker clearly has a preference for Vance and for that foreign policy position prevailing. That we should not be embroiled in the Middle East. Although he does like Qatar, he did, because we're not fighting wars, he would say we're not fighting wars on behalf of Qatar. Those are factions. Get up the Joe Kent stuff with Tulsi and Kash Patel. These are different factions that are fighting for control of whatever comes after Trump. And this is kind of it's a conflict that smart people know about. And I'm not saying if you know about it, if you don't know about it, you're not smart. I'm just saying, like, whatever, you're not reading, you have a life, right? So you're like, have a family and a job. So you're not reading all this crap that I read and you're talking to these crazy people. That's all I do all day is talk to crazy people. They're interesting to a degree, but they're insane. And, they have very interesting positions all over, in media and government or whatever, and they're interesting and they're nuts and they believe X or Y or Z, and you really don't know who's who or who works for who or why anyone believes anything and who's getting paid and whatever. It's an odd world. But these are the factions that are lining up, and it's all about control of money and control of power and who gets their friends in, who gets their people in, who's able to go in with their crew and staff all of these agencies and try, because again, these agencies are not always going to be responsive to the incoming administration. And they've been trying to fire that guy forever, by the way. A lot of people want that guy fired. That's why Politico wrote that hit piece. He tried to, stop arms shipments to Ukraine. His position on this stuff's kind of known. But a lot of people don't want that guy in. counterterrorism nominee Joe Kent, under scrutiny as emails show he pushed for edits to intelligence assessment. Okay, this is not. But here, just to show you who he is, emails obtained by CBS News show Joe Kent, who currently serves to the Chief of Staff to Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. So that's what he does. Okay, he is the Chief of Staff to Director Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence. Whatever, it's kind of a fake job. They're trying to do the best that they can, I guess, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But he asked Kash Patel to see the files that they had on the Charlie Kirk case. And the request was flat out denied. They're like, no, we're not going to show you. What we have is an ongoing investigation. Now, I don't know why it's ongoing. I thought they got the guy, and I don't know why he's... I don't know why anyone's talking about foreign intelligence with this assassination. Again, I'm confused. So, but that's, again, just an example of, officials' access to FBI files in Charlie Kirk case drew pushback. An inquiry by Joe Kent, who leads the National Counterterrorism Center, is said to have alarmed Kash Patel, the FBI director. They don't want him poking around. This is not completely unprecedented and rare. The FBI does not like that there are other agencies that have oversight. The inquiry by Joe Kent, the director of the Counterterrorism Center, alarmed Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. Mr. Patel and other senior officials believe Mr. Kent was overstepping, treading on FBI responsibilities, and potentially interfering with the investigation and prosecution of Tyler Robinson. But supporters of Mr. Kent say he was doing his job running down leads and making sure no foreign or domestic groups were linked to Mr. Kirk's death. So, you see the little schisms happening. We had a very weird shooting at MIT, a weird shooting at Brown, horrible shooting at Brown, horrible that anyone loses their life ever, in a horrible way like that. A young woman, two people at Brown, and then a nuclear fusion scientist, something like that, right?
Yes,
From MIT. And the same guy killed all of them and then killed himself in a storage shed. Let's listen to a little bit of this. Again, this is probably something that will disappear from the news in a day. And no one will ever know what happened. But it's fucking weird. It's a little weird. That a guy walked onto the campus of Brown, shot these two people, and then shot a guy from MIT, and they killed himself in a storage shed. Let's hear a little bit of this.
Two shootings at two major schools in the Northeast, and police now say they could be connected. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We begin with that breaking news. Multiple sources briefed on the investigation, telling ABC News the mass shooting at Brown University and the murder of an MIT professor in Massachusetts may be linked. Let's bring in our Christian Cordero there on the scene in Providence, Rhode Island. Also our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Gutersky, plus our contributor and former NYPD chief of detectives, Robert Boyce. So, Aaron, what do we know now?
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News, Kira, that the shooting at Brown University that killed two students may, in fact, be connected to the shooting death, the apparent murder of MIT professor Nuno Lolero, who was shot and killed in the foyer of his Brookline home on Monday night, pronounced dead on Tuesday morning at the hospital. At first, the FBI said there was no known connection, but in the last 24 hours, sources told ABC News that the investigative teams on both the cases began to compare notes, and information started to gel that the two shooting incidents may in fact be connected. The authorities have not said this publicly, but this is what we're hearing now from multiple law enforcement sources. We also understand that authorities may be close to naming a suspect.
So we have the suspect. We have the guy that did this. He's dead, and he killed himself in a storage shed. What's his name? I don't know why nothing seems to make sense anymore. And I don't want to sound like a nut. And I'm not saying and alleging that everything's a lie all the time. But it is just odd that, like, crimes used to have motives. You know, when I grew up, crimes had motives. Like, somebody would do something and there would be a tangible reason as to why that person did it. And the news media would doggedly try to find out why the person did the crime. And now that's kind of less of a thing. Now it's like Clue. It's like a weird thing of Clue where they're like, he killed someone in the meat locker with the hair dryer. And you go, okay. And he's like, well, he shot somebody in the frozen foods aisle with, the bazooka. And you go, oh, okay, but why? Well, we don't know. Right. Well, he had a samurai sword, and he was in the phone booth, and he cut the guy's head off. But nobody really knows why. A Reddit post from a homeless man at Brown University helped investigators find the mass shooter. Well, thank God. Thank God that, by the way, this is Kash Patel's FBI. It is now come down to a Reddit post from a homeless person. So if you're killed in this country, you better hope that a vagrant tweets about it so that Kash Patel can find out. You hope they tweet at FBI director, at Kash, I just killed someone. Literally, Reddit pages where homeless people post are the only people doing any investigations in this country. Them and Candace Owens. Let's watch this.
This was just them like searching for the snow for footprints.
Oh, good. Look at this. Look at the FBI searching for footprints.
Methodically looking step by step.
This is the biggest joke. I mean, they're doing a dance. These people are doing a dance. They're doing a ceremonial dance because they just did a human sacrifice. Who was the guy that got shot at MIT? Who was that guy? And what did he do? He was a scientist, right? He was a nuclear fusion scientist, and now Trump just signed a deal with a fusion company, like today. And there was a guy on the board of that company, I think, who knew this guy. Wise Truth Social owner merging with Wise Truth Social owner Trump Media merging with a fusion energy firm. So on a day after this guy gets whacked, Trump Media and Technology Group, owner of Donald Trump's Truth Social media platform, announced a merger on Wednesday with a company developing fusion energy technology. Interesting. Fun. And this guy who's a fusion scientist gets whacked the day before. Again, I'm not saying there's anything there, it's just fun to know. Who was the suspect? Now, go back to that. So a Reddit thread posted by a homeless guy. You don't think of the homeless on Reddit, but I imagine many of them are. Let's read this here. Police are probably going to sift through a lot more Reddit posts in the future. One of those online posts played a big role in helping investigators find the suspect who killed two students in Brown. Remember, Kash Patel, they said they had the guy, they used geolocation, whatever, they traced his phone, and then they had to let him go. This is what they do over there at the FBI. They find someone, and then they announce to the public, they're like, we've used geolocation to find the... And then they have to let them go. Great. The 48-year-old suspect, Claudio Neves Valente, was found dead in a New Hampshire storage facility Thursday night.
Damn it.
Authorities say he killed Brown University students, Mohammed Aziz Umerkazov and Ella Cook, and then murdered MIT professor Nuno Lauriero. It took investigators a long time to ID the suspect after the mass shooting Saturday night in Providence, followed by the assassination of the professor Monday night. Then on Tuesday, authorities received a tip from an anonymous source about a Reddit post on the Providence subreddit According to the affidavit, the Reddit poster, a homeless man, claimed that he saw the suspected shooter walking in the area of the Brown University mass shooting. Quote, "I'm being dead serious," reads the Reddit post. The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plate, possibly a rental. That was the car he was driving. So Cash Patel and the FBI are now relying on the homeless to solve the crimes. No. Folks, you're relying on the homeless. The reason the Epstein list isn't out is because the homeless haven't gotten involved. This is why Cash Patel didn't realize that there was a human trafficking ring that Epstein was running, because a homeless guy hadn't posted about it on Reddit. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is now depending on the homeless in the country. Up until that point in the investigation, police had not released any videos with a gray Nissan or vehicle with Florida plates, based on the tip. So basically, the homeless are doing a better job than Cash Patel's FBI. And Cash Patel, by the way, while this is all happening, is on a podcast with his girlfriend. He's on a podcast with his girlfriend. Okay? Dan Bongino just left the FBI to come back to podcasting. Welcome back, brother. Who predicted that a year ago? The guy that didn't get invited to Conan's party. That guy. Bongino's coming back to a place where he can make a goddamn difference. The desk. Come back to the podcast world. We can make change here. It's not like the fucking feds. Can we watch a little bit of this abortion? Can you? This is the director, folks. This is the. I'm going to campaign for AOC. I will campaign for Mom Donnie. I am putting the burqa on. This is the campaign. I'm sorry. This is the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This girl in Brown University was shot in her face and tragically lost her life. And I'm not going to be kidding. She tragically lost her life. She was shot in the head. Okay? This fool, with his girlfriend, is on a fucking podcast. Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife. This isn't even a high-rated podcast. This isn't even a big one. Okay? This isn't even a big fucking this ain't Call Her Daddy. This is some dumb shit. This is not even worth it. They don't even get good views. Let's watch a little bit of this. It's disgusting.
On a personal level, of course, I wish we didn't have to deal with the attacks. Like, she should be out there touring, and
She should be out there touring. Call AOC. I'm giving you money. I swear to God. And I was never even. Listen. I was never a huge fan of this guy because I didn't know much about him. And it felt weird. It all felt weird. And now it's fucking insane. But I am donating money to, it's just, this is, couldn't have, it's just, it's good for my show. And it's good for the podcast world, which is why Dan Bongino, I think, is coming back to us. Because truly that's what this is good for, is like, it's fodder, but what an embarrassment for the country. She should be out touring. We don't like the attacks. She should be out touring. There's a girl at Brown University shot in the face. Fire him. Fire him. Are you people fucking nuts? You're up at Turning Point USA, arguing with each other, calling each other fucking feds or whatever, and this guy who's a legitimate fed is saying his girlfriend should be touring while someone got shot in the face, and they don't have the person who did it, and he's deciding to go on a podcast. It's a bad reality show. It's fucking terrible. Here, let's go.
stage that she always has been, and she shouldn't have to deal
Weird
with
set
the
as well, not a good set. Keep going, sorry.
collateral consequence of just being the FBI director's girlfriend, but I think with the hypersensitive nature of the media, especially the social media space, people come at you because it takes me back to like when I first did an
And
investigation.
he has red, white, and blue socks on. Call Hassan Piker. Go just donate us. Just give Hassan Piker a super chat right now. Call those that retarded withers, whatever his name is. Those fucking twinks from Colorado that live in a mountain that keep screaming. Okay, maybe we won't go that far, but I'm just saying this. What? It's just absurd. Anyway, get them right. I can't even listen. Let me tell you something, and you need to hear it. We live in a world that is designed to steal from you. It's designed to leave you exposed. And the greatest scam of all, the data brokers. These people are selling your life, your credit score, and pictures of your grotesque family to the highest bidder. We all talk about how every move we make leaves a trail of text, pathetic posts. Every time you buy coffee, nothing disappears. And that's the problem. After seeing what these scammers and identity thieves are doing with stolen data, it genuinely hit me. We're all walking targets. You know, you read the news, and every week there's another big company being hit by a data breach. You think, well, I never did business with them. But somehow your personal information has been leaked by the data anyway. How does this happen? Because these data brokers sold it to them. Your data is being passed around like a cheap whore at a finance pro party. Incogni stops that transaction. I had a situation recently, and this is a true story, where somebody was trying to open a bunch of credit accounts in my name. They had my old address, my phone number, even the name of my dog, which is confidential. This information was out there, sold by some loser data broker for $5. Criminals can open credit accounts, file tax returns, and even commit crimes in your name just by buying up these pathetic little spreadsheets of your life. It's disgusting. That's why you need to realize that incogni isn't just about deleting your data from a few lists. It's about removing yourself from the internet, vanishing from the digital grid before it collapses and takes your identity with it. That's why I use incogni, and you should too. Incogni reaches out to these companies and tells them to delete your information. Give them permission once, and they relentlessly handle the rest. Incogni works in the background and silently removes your information. And now, it's 3 a.m. And now they've launched this feature. It's brilliant. It's a total game changer. It's what you need if you have a stalker, an ex, somebody who just hates your guts. I'm talking about Incogni's new customer removal feature. Available in the unlimited and family unlimited plans. This is huge. If you see your private information, maybe your actual home address, phone number floating around a specific scummy site, you can flag it and Incogni will go after it directly. This is the kind of protection you need when the world is full of psychopaths and losers that want to ruin your life. Criminals can be exposed by personal information, scams, stalking, harassment, other illegal activities. This feature is basically a digital security guard. You know, you read the news, blah, blah, blah. If you want to protect your privacy and take your information off the market before they use it, bankrupt you and ruin your reputation, go to incogni.com and use code Tim Dillon for 60% off your annual plan. That's https://incogni, incogni.com, code Tim Dillon, 60% off. Honestly, one of the best investments you can ever make for your own peace of mind. Otherwise, you spend months or years repairing the financial and reputational damage left by these pathetic criminals. Your personal data should not be public property. Erase yourself from the internet with Incogni. Folks, I cannot say enough good things about Ethos. Talk about an experience you or a loved one had that taught you about the importance of life insurance. Well, I'd be glad to. My cousin Frankie Felix, that's his name. He was like, I don't need life insurance. I'm going to live forever. Well, guess what happened to Frankie Felix? Guess what happened? Okay? He was at a carnival with his children. He wanted to take them to a local car. Oh, it's all fun and games, is it? Frankie Felix and his children. Well, he took them to a carnival. Okay? And he was standing too close to the, we used to call it the salt and pepper shake. It was a ride. He was decapitated in front of his children. Okay? His head was not clear off his body in front of his children. It was still, his head was on the ground and landed head up like Final Destination with an expression on it. He was like, "Rawr." Now, these children were traumatized by that until they found out that Ethos was an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and that Frankie Felix had actually, even though we all made fun of him, he actually had Ethos. And they were happy. It's a trustworthy company that disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos, just like Frankie Felix, my cousin who was decapitated in the carnival. Get your free quote at ethos.com/TIM. That's ethos.com/JM. TIM. Application times may vary and rates may vary. And thank Frankie Felix's sacrifice. His head was knocked off his body in front of his children so that you could live your life. Thank you. This is what the Republican Party has become. I mean, it's really insane. The Democrats will and should win the midterms, and hopefully, they should win the next election. If they can be sane, they may or may not. But if this isn't some kind of street with this thing with the MIT and the dead in the storage shed, if this isn't something, if something dark isn't afoot, then I truly don't know what's going on. There used to be crimes that would have a little bit of, that would make some sense. And maybe this one will make sense. There used to be motives. You used to go, yeah, that guy, he's somebody who's fucking his wife, he killed them, not good, but you know, you understood in your mind. Now you just, again, you have, it's Mad Libs. It's Mad Libs, where you go, MIT, write it down. You go, MIT, nuclear scientist, this guy's here, that guy there. If you talk about it, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. If you literally were to just tell somebody the actual facts of this, you would sound like a conspiracy theorist without mentioning any conspiracies, by the way. If you just said, there was a guy who's a nuclear fusion scientist, MIT, crawling with spies, shot in his house. Then, at Brown University, this girl got shot and then some other guy. Now, they found the guy who did it because a homeless guy posted on Reddit, and then the FBI director decided to take a break from his girlfriend's tour schedule to try to arrest the guy who actually was another weird guy who knew this guy he shot. I think they knew each other. Let's find that article. They kind of knew each other. And he ended up killing himself in his storage facility in New Hampshire. If you were to just say that, you would sound like you were trying to say something else. But everything now is mask off. Everything is mask off. We're at the end.
More sports, more movies, less drama. Get features that make watching live TV even easier. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Guess what? So this guy who's allegedly the ex-boyfriend of Erica Kirk, she dated him right before Charlie. That's the story. He's now being tapped to go around and take over for Charlie. It said, how to lead like Charlie. Cabot Phillips, senior editor, Daily Wire, Turning Point USA. So it turns out Erica Kirk has been caught in even more lies.
Unbelievable. I'm shocked.
So we got caught so here's more lies coming out of TPUSA. She's the CEO. And, well, here's what she said about their dating life.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
She never dated for 5 years, the whole time she was in New York.
Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. My situation was a little different. I went to it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like,
she'd be like, no.
I lived out here.
No, she's not going. So I just think it's funny how people think God works like that. Like, no, God had to set us up on this thing, but then he wanted to set us up to get married so I could watch him be assassinated in 4K a couple years later. God didn't intervene on that. So it's just to me, it's a sophomoric way to look at God. It's very sophomoric. But anyway, turns out she was dating. Turns out. So she was dating this guy named Cabot Phillips. This is from, I think this is 2017. It said, yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. There they are. Turns out this guy's also was a buddy of Charlie's. And his father's got ties to the war machine. Here's her name was Erica France, by the way. And this is from November 29th, 2017. She says, since this is where it all started,
I only found it appropriate to wish you a very happy birthday. Cash Cab XX, your catfish. Here's another social media post from, this is, I guess, an Instagram. I don't go on Instagram. This is what it looks like. It says, Luna Bear Studios prepping another couple's gallery for delivery, and a heart. Erica, Franz, and JT Massey 5, you're both amazing humans, and I loved shooting with you. So much laughter and love. It was perfection. What? So there's that. And then they scrubbed, and what makes it all more
Why?
suspicious is that Cash Cab guy, Cabot Phillips, and Erica scrubbed all those posts. So the post is gone, but people responding to the post is there. How cute you are, y'all. Oh, gorgeous couple. But the post is gone. And here's that guy with Charlie. Yes, I beat Cabot one-on-one. That was from September 24th, 2017. 8 years ago. No, not 6. So he reposted that. Okay. He also, get this is weird. So this guy, Cabot Phillips, he's a head editor over at the Daily Wire, which is and he said, just discovered that Obama is one of those dads who brings an iPad on vacation to take pics of his family, and it's the greatest thing ever. What? I don't understand. What? Is he doing that thing where you play both sides of the fence? Because that's what it sounds like. But guess what? So this guy who's allegedly the ex-boyfriend of Erica Kirk, she dated him right before Charlie. That's the story. He's now being tapped to go around and take over for Charlie. It said, how to lead like Charlie, Cabot Phillips, senior editor, Daily Wire, Turning Point USA. So these hosted by Turning Point USA at South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College. So that's just one of them. That's December 16th, 5:30 p.m. How to lead like Charlie. So isn't that weird? Yeah, I think it is weird.
Yeah.
I found this also Monday, October 6th, 2025, University Union Building in Flagstaff, Arizona. How to fight like Charlie, Fort Cabot. Oh, what does that FT mean? FT Cabot Phillips? What does FT stand for? I don't know. But anyway, it says how to fight like Charlie, Cabot Phillips. That's not even a month after the assassination. Here's what our friend James Lee had to say about it. Let's listen to James Lee.
Erica Kirk's backstory has just been exposed as a giant lie, allegedly.
When I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
We don't know for sure if she wasn't drinking, but she did.
What'd you do? Cheat on your math test again?
Yep.
No, Wi-Fi works everywhere, right?
Yeah, but what about Delilah?
Grano dall'aria triste appassionata, se fai piangere il tuo violino fra le dita, suona ancora come una dolce serenata, mentre pallido nel silenzio ascolterò questo tango che in una notte profumata il mio cuore ad un altro cuore incatena. Suona, suona per me, o violino zigano, forse pensi anche tu a un amore laggiù sotto un cielo lontano, se un segreto dolore fa tremar la tua mano, questo tango d'amor fa tremare il mio cuor, o violino zigano. Tu che sogni la dolce terra d'Ungheria, suona ancora con tutta l'anima zigana. Voglio piangere come te di nostalgia, nel ricordo di chi il mio cuore abbandonò, come il canto che tu diffondi per la via, con il vento la mia passione dilegua. Questo tango è d'amore, ma il mio amore è lontano, suona, suona per me, forse piango con te, o violino zigano. O zigrano dall'aria triste appassionata, che fai piangere il tuo violino fra le dita, suona ancora come una dolce serenata, mentre pallido nel silenzio ascolterò questo tango che in una notte profumata il mio cuore ad un altro cuore incatena. Suona, suona per me, o violino zigano, forse pensi anche tu a un amore laggiù sotto un cielo lontano, se un segreto dolore fa tremar la tua mano, questo tango d'amor fa tremare il mio cuor, o violino zigano. Tu che sogni la dolce terra d'Ungheria, suona ancora con tutta l'anima zigana. Voglio piangere come te di nostalgia, nel ricordo di chi il mio cuore abbandonò, come il canto che tu diffondi per la via, con il vento la mia passione dilegua. Questo il mio amore è lontano. Suona, suona per me, forse piango con te, oh violino zingaro. Partivano le rondini dal mio paese freddo e senza sole, cercando primavere di viole, nidi d'amore e di felicità. La mia piccola voltino partì senza lasciarmi un bacio, senza un addio, partì. Non ti scordarti me, la vita mia legate a te. Io t'amo sempre più, nel sogno mio rimani tu. Non ti scordarti me, la vita mia legate a te. C'è sempre un nido nel mio cor per te. Non ti scordar di me. Non ti scordarti me, la vita mia legate a te. C'è sempre un nido nel mio cor per te. Non ti scordar di me.
My little miracle is Beckett. They look great. A month after.
Il primo amore non si scorda mai. Un antico stornello me l'ha detto. Se tu dimenticarmi me potrai. La prima volta ch'io ti strinsi al petto, le tue prime amore, torna a cantare quella canzone da te preferita. Dammi i tuoi baci
canto della notte una passione. La luna splende un venticello spira e porta questo canto al tuo verone. Torna al tuo primo amore a ricantare quella canzone da te preferita. Dammi i tuoi baci, io ti darò la vita. Cantiamo assieme. Il primo amore non si scorda mai. Torna.
Yeah, but what if I need, like, actual help?
Capital One Cafe ambassadors offer in-person assistance. And if you can't drop by, you can always get help online or through the app.
You're my hero.
Switch to easy banking with no fee, no minimum, Capital One 360 checking.
Joy is very hard to come by whenever you're going through something like this. But Maisie smiled through the whole thing. She has shown us that even though you're going through something terrible, you can still enjoy your life. You can still do fun things. You can still be happy. When we put up our Christmas tree this year, the first thing that Maisie did was hug the Christmas tree and say, "Oh, I love you, Christmas tree." And she has the biggest smile when she turns those lights on every day. And it is so worth it to us. Sometimes people have been through things and they need it to get by. And if us going into the Christmas spirit early is what can help us get through this time in our life, then we'll do it every year.
Lasciateci passare, siamo romani, veri giardini siamo linei fiori. La romanina cantando vien dal giannicolo in fiore, ti dà un'occhiata passando, ti mette il fuoco nel cuore, e tutta Roma si incanta e ognuno le canta dicendo così: lasciatela passare la bella romanina che tutti fa incantare, intanto che cammina, ti fa provar la scossa con gli occhi d'assassina.
if I'm tired of all these maintenance and overdraft fees?
Check out 360 Checking from Capital One. It has no fees, and it only takes about 5 minutes to open an account.
Oh, bye-bye fees.
How can I tell if there's suspicious activity on my account? Capital One's top-rated mobile app has real-time alerts and the ability to lock your debit card.
Partivo una mattina con vapore e una bella bambina gli arrivò. Vedendomi da parte, scusi signore, perdoni se ti fiore, sì lo so. Lei torna a casa lieto, bello vedo, ed un favore piccolo ti chiedo. La porti un bacione a Firenze, che nella mia città che in cuore ho sempre lì. La porti un bacione a Firenze, lavoro sol per rivederla un dì. Son figlia d'emigrante, per questo son distante, lavoro perché un giorno a casa tornerò. La porti un bacione a Firenze, se la rivedo e glielo renderò. Bella bambina, le ho risposto allora, il tuo bacione a casa porterò, e per tranquillità mi dà quest'ora, in viaggio chiuso a chiave lo terrò, ma appena giunto a casa te lo giuro, il bacio verso il cielo andrà sicuro. Io porto il tuo bacio a Firenze, che l'è la tua città ed anche l'è di me. Porto il tuo bacio a Firenze, né mai giammai potrò scordarmi te. Sei figlia d'emigrante, per questo sei distante, ma sta sicura un giorno a casa tornerai. Porto il tuo bacio a Firenze, e da Firenze tanti baci avrai. L'è vera questa storia, e se non fosse, la può passare per vera sol perché so bene che lucciconi e quanta tosse, e a chi distante dalla patria è, così ogni fiorentino è lontano, vedendo i partiti dirà piano. La porti un bacione a Firenze, e tanto che non ci può, ci crede, più non ci sto. La porti un bacione a Firenze, non vedo l'ora quando tornerò. La nostra cittadina, graziosa e sì carina, c'ha tant'anni eppure non ne invecchia mai. Porto i bacioni a Firenze di tutti i fiorentini che incontrai.
I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty, and I'm in my Ozempic era. What will your Ozempic era look like?
Morning, Pete. Coffee's on and your Uber's on its way.
You know, I've been thinking, maybe I should just go by Peter now?
Peter Davidson. Not bad.
Sounds like I'm gonna try and sell you.
Quel mazzolin di fiori che vien dalla montagna. Quel mazzolin di fiori che vien dalla montagna. E guarda ben che non si va.
McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Big vendors don't answer their phones because it's too expensive and they don't care about their customers. But we at Patriot Software do care about every customer. On average, a Patriot employee will pick up your customer support phone call in under 1 minute.
Per questi piccoletti si sente ogni ora cantare la voce allegra e bella dello spazzacammin. Per questi piccoletti si sente ogni ora cantare la voce allegra e bella dello spazzacammin. S'affaccia alla finestra la bella signorina con voce graziosina chiama lo spazzacammin. S'affaccia alla finestra la bella signorina con voce graziosina chiama lo spazzacammin. Prima lo fa entrare e poi lo fa sedere, dà da mangiare e bere allo spazzacammin. Prima lo fa entrare e poi lo fa sedere, dà da mangiare e bere allo spazzacammin. E dopo aver mangiato e ben bevuto, gli fa vedere il buco del cammin. E dopo aver mangiato e ben bevuto, gli fa vedere il buco del cammin. Mi spiace giovanotto che il mio cammino è stretto, povero giovanotto, come farà a salir? Mi spiace giovanotto che il mio cammino è stretto, povero giovanotto, come farà a salir? Non dubiti, signora, son vecchio del mestiere, so fare il mio dovere, su e giù per il cammin. Non dubiti, signora, son vecchio del mestiere, so fare il mio dovere, su e giù per il cammin. E dopo 4 mesi la luna va crescendo, la gente va dicendo dello spazzacammin. E dopo 4 mesi la luna va crescendo, la gente va dicendo dello spazzacammin. E dopo 9 mesi è nato un bel bambino, rassomigliava tutto allo spazzacammin. E dopo 9 mesi è nato un bel bambino, rassomigliava tutto allo spazzacammin.
With USAA Safe Pilot, I can save when I road trip safely.
Or with USAA Safe Pilot Miles, I can save when I staycation.
Yeah, with Safe Pilot, you can save when you drive.
Or with Safe Pilot Miles, you can save when you don't.
This is the quickest way to clear out stuck poop.
I have to poop, but it feels stuck. Stop! Are you trying to kill us? What? Fiber helps you poop. No. Fiber bulks up stuck poop. It's like adding more cars to a traffic jam. I'll try laxatives then. Are you insane? Laxatives turn new poop into liquid diarrhea. But it doesn't get rid of the stuck poop that's causing us to be backed up and bloated. Oh my god, I'm gonna be constipated forever, aren't I? Here, do us both a favor and watch this poop trick video. Please.
This is the quickest way to ease gut issues.
The number one food for regular BMs, huh? Okay, let's see.
Fastest way to clear out stuck poop is by adding more fiber to your diet.
Not quite, unless you want to make things worse, of course.
As far as the best foods for doing that, I've been experimenting with prunes, kiwis, and refried beans.
Oh, bless her, but this is going sideways fast.
Fibrous foods are great because fiber helps you poop.
Okay, I gotta jump in here. Fiber. Look, it's great when you're not already constipated, but when you're backed up, it's just like, yikes. Because here's the thing, fiber adds bulk and weight to stool, and 1 + 1 = 2, just like adding even more mass to the poop that's already blocking your body's only exit equals more cramps, more bloating, and more constipation. That's just basic math, and it's 100% not going to get things moving again.
What about laxatives?
Sure. Laxatives might liquefy any of the new poop, allowing it to squeeze through your increasingly blocked exit. Meanwhile, the old stuck poop that's already cemented to the walls of your colon, well, it just continues to stagnate and rot in your belly. Not to mention, laxatives can make you dependent. And then there's the cramps and the diarrhea. And for what? Your poop's still stuck. So forget about fiber or laxatives. I'll do you one better. Something that not only provides almost instant relief, but actually helps prevent future poop blockages. And I gotta warn you, it might sound a little weird at first, but just hear me out, okay? Because I'm talking about a gut-clearing ritual that anyone can do at home. And no, I'm not talking about poop yoga or chugging half your body weight in water. And it's not some crazy TikTok trend like those dangerous coffee enemas that people keep trying. It's simple, it's safe, and backed by real hard Ivy League science studied at Harvard and Yale. Best of the best. A top New York City gut doctor named Dr. Gina Sam showed it to me. And I gotta say, I love how her gut-clearing morning ritual helps your body naturally release stuck poop. You do it, and it softens and loosens the hardened poop, blocking your colon, so your body can easily and comfortably release all that backed-up toxic waste. And here's my favorite part. This technique helps your body process waste more efficiently going forward, which means you don't have to live in fear of constipation.
largest selection of holiday cheer. The fun starts here.
TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's organization, now headed by his wife, is having their big thing. It's called AmFest, I guess, and it's in Phoenix. I didn't get invited again. It hurts my feelings. I didn't get invited to Tucker Carlson's Christmas party. I get invited to this. It hurts my feelings. But anyway, here's how she came out. Now this, to me, nothing says grieving widow more than this. Here we go.
A very, very special speaker, and she has had a heroic last year.
So they had this video of Charlie Kirk introducing her. Now, Misha, you say it's creepy, right?
Yes, it's creepy.
So that's a lady saying it. I'm a fella. I also am going to say it's creepy, but watch this.
And I believe she's the best mom in the world. She is my hero and the love of my life. Join me in welcoming Erica Kirk.
So here's how she comes out. Look at this. So here's what she tried to, by the way, where did they meet? At a car show in Vegas? I mean, that's what it's like a pretty volcano, right? That's how I'm coming out for my next comedy special. Same outfit, too. Same outfit. Cry about it. Cry about it. Yeah. But here's how you know that when Candace Owens caught on to the Egyptian planes following them around, and those same Egyptian planes flying in and out of Israel, that's what really, really panicked them. The first thing was when she told people to stop donating to TV USA, because it's always about the money. The second thing is when Candace Owens caught on to the Egyptian planes, that were the Egyptian military planes that were following them around, and were there the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and then they were going in and out of Israel. And so it's bothering them so much, she can't stop bringing it up. And here she goes. Here she brings it up.
Have 40 breakout sessions, 178 sponsors, all 50 states represented.
So what she's letting you know is that she's the CEO of a very, very powerful political organization. Very rich, very wealthy, very powerful, and ubiquitous in the country. Powerful political organization. And we're not supposed to scrutinize them? Of course we are. Stop. Just stop.
We have 25 countries represented plus Puerto Rico, but I have the list here. Don't worry, guys. Egypt is not on the list. Don't worry about that.
So, it's like everything. Everything she does is cringe. Everything she does to be clever turns out to be a catastrophic mistake. Like so many people in her social class, they don't know how to do the one thing that would save them, and that one thing is just be honest. They have no idea.
Jimmy, you know, when I saw her speaking, the first thing that came to my mind was just stop.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Can we have one thing without you wrecking it? Can we just have one AmFest?
how funny. I say Egypt and my iPad turns on. That's fun. Where were we? Okay.
Well, we were busy denying the thing that Candace Owens found out and Tucker Carlson confirmed. We're busy denying that. We're not interested in finding out why the Egyptian planes were following you. Not interested at all. Is that...
All right, time for lunch. Thanks for watching. Sorry I wasn't talking. I was just listening to a bunch of Italian music and copyright strikes and such. But anyways, this ends today's, I guess, stream. I might do one later. I don't know. Over and out for now. Thanks for watching the paint dry. Peace out. Over and out.